What's up, guys? Jon Jones is coming up on being undefeated in the UFC for a damn decade.
That's fucking insane,
That's absolutely ludicrous. He's on a 16-fight win streak if you don't count USADA, and he's ultimately one of the greatest of all time, and
Absolutely.
I'd say the only true greatest of all time contender that we have that we can say, like, oh yeah, he's a greatest of all time contender that is still adding to his legacy.
Absolutely.
GSP could, maybe. He still honey dicks us all every once in a while and talks about fighting again. Anderson Silva's done. He's not adding to his legacy. If anything, he's depreciating it.
Yeah.
But Jones, out of those three guys, and I guess Aldo would be the other guy, if Aldo was able to get the bantamweight. But I don't think he has as good of a claim to fame.
But you don't like Mighty Mouse.
Well,
but that's regardless.
That's regardless. Anywho, the big question becomes, how long can Jon Jones keep this up?
Yeah, I mean, so he's probably fought through, what, 3 generations
at
of
light
fighters?
heavyweight?
Yeah, light heavyweight.
It's hard because it is a bigger weight class, so the division, like the generations kind of blur a little bit more. When you have a welterweight or a lightweight or even a middleweight, I feel like it's a lot easier to have sort of markers of divisions. When you're in these lighter weight classes, like Shogun Rua is still ranked.
Right.
You know, in heavyweight, you have a lot of guys who were ranked in 2010 who are still there.
Yep.
So it's got to be 3. It's got to be 3 divisions or 3 generations, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's interesting because there's kind of like a narrative that DOMINICK REYES himself, the next title challenger, who you love.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm hype on him. He's a great fighter.
He started the 4th generation kind of wave of fighters.
And he himself is even saying, like, I don't think Jones can handle the next generation.
Right.
Like, he tweeted that, and that pissed Johnny Bone Jones off.
Yeah, it did. Well, even the fact that, like, I know Thiago Santos is like, what, 32 or something like that, but he fights like a new fighter. That's all I'm saying. I'm not exactly putting him in the 4th generation. He arguably
won that fight. A lot of people had Santos winning that fight. I feel I need to rewatch it because I was like, damn, Santos is doing better than I thought.
But
you know
the fact of the matter is that he broke his foot, or he blew out his ACL or something, like knee or whatever.
But it's just crazy to me that, like, Thiago Santos is considered a new generations of fighter
when he's 32 and been fighting in the UFC.
John's 32. Yeah. John's 30-2, guys. That's the part that's insane to me. Like, he's 32 and he's still just absolutely killing the game.
Yeah.
I don't agree with Reyes. I'm going to be honest. I do think that there are light heavyweights who are coming up who do present certain problems. And it's the same trend that we're seeing across MMA in general right now, which is that we're finally seeing fighters that have the distance management and the
reach, just the reach.
The reach and the striking fundamentals to actually punish wrestlers when they move through the space.
So, and also, I know that everybody's basically off the Johnny Walker train right now, but that guy, he's going to be a champ eventually in the lightweight division. I mean, I don't think I'm still on the train. I
think he's too wild and his defense is non-existent, and I think that's going to be a problem.
But he's a young guy. I don't know. Like, I think that he can incorporate those things.
But the same things that make him a threat. Like, if we're talking about, and this is relevant, we're talking about the next generation, right? The things that make Johnny Walker a threat are his unpredictability and his wild fighting style. Sure. If you try to give him defensively sound fighting principles, then he won't beat the same guys that he's already beaten.
But you can still create defense with pressure. So as he's going, so what he needs to do, okay, so just to get technical, right? So instead of leaving his chin wide open, he needs to follow it with like some kind of block at the same time. So he can still be
crazy man.
He can still be a crazy man, but he just needs to make sure that he's more defensively sound. Like his goal would be, the more offense I give, the more defense it provides for me.
Just have offense with less holes, basically, right?
Absolutely.
And, okay, so let's really break it down. Because the first question is, who is the new generation?
I would say
Reyes is for sure.
Reyes
he has
sure
to
in
be
there. I would say that Walker is definitely in the new generation. And the guys that are RAKIc as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And
they're similar. I'd say like all 3 of these guys are athletic. They're true light heavyweights. That's another thing.
Yes.
They move a lot more fluidly when you compare them to like Machida. When you compare them to like, Rua's not a fair example.
Yeah, Rua's not.
He left his knees in Japan. He never brought them back in his return flight to Brazil. But like, you're starting to see, I think, sort of a resurgence in light heavyweight where we're getting young, super athletic guys who actually fit the weight class.
Yes.
They're not like bulked-up middleweights. They're not just big dudes who weren't athletic enough to make it in other sports. And all three of these guys we mentioned, Walker less so, they have good striking fundamentals and good reach.
That's the key thing is
Yeah.
the reach, right? And the fact that there's a southpaw with
Good boxing
in Reyes is going to provide Jones with a lot of problems.
And if you actually do, a lot of people can make, I think, too big of some fights that Jones has struggled in, but the fights we can say he's struggled in 3 fights that I can think of off the top and truly struggled. Gustafsson, Thiago Santos, and OSP. What do those 3 fighters have in common? I'd say they are the 3 tallest, longest fighters that Jones has fought. What do the new generation have in common?
They're long and tall.
They're
baby.
all long and tall. Like there's nobody in the new generation.
But OSP and Reyes are both southpaws.
Well, that's true, but I'm thinking it's more so like
The reach
the
advantage.
reach.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's like, how many sparring partners can you get that are MMA fighters, athletic, and that have that kind of build?
Right.
I mean, there's only about 5 of them in the UFC. So how do you get sparring partners to get those looks, right?
I agree.
And I think that Jones's biggest weakness is his boxing. He excels, and let's call that the mid-range, just for the purpose of this discussion. Let's say that boxing range is the middle range, right?
Yeah.
Jones excels in close range
and long range.
fighting.
Yes. Using his feet, using his legs, right?
Yeah, he's great oblique kicks, great low line side kicks, amazing strike variety from close range and clinch fighting.
Yeah, with the knees and all that stuff like that. He's
amazing. His boxing middle range fighting is just not. It's not
good.
bad.
It's good, yeah.
But it's not like his S tier long range fighting, S tier short range fighting,
and
and maybe like a B plus.
I would say an A minus.
Yeah,
yeah,
something around there. It is his vulnerability. It's not a big vulnerability, but RAKIc less so. That's why I think Reyes is a really fun contender because his boxing is really strong and his kickboxing is really strong as well. And I'm super curious because I want to know how he's going to match up with Jones because he is a southpaw in the long range exchanges and in the mid range exchanges. Because I think Jones has him close range.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
If it's close range, I could see him getting finished.
The thing about Jon Jones though is that I've noticed, and we did the 3 examples of
the guys he struggled with.
The guys he struggled with, and they all 3 of them brought pressure.
Yeah,
and pressure from long range as well. You know, like there's been a lot of pressure fighters that Jon Jones has faced, but they've all been significantly shorter than him.
Yeah,
and he's
DC's the prime example.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Been way shorter than him, and I think. I don't know. There's just guys that
just gives him space. When you have a reach advantage, that just gives you more time and space to work with because someone has to move through. Like, let's say I had this much of a reach advantage, 6 inches. They have to move through about right here before they can even touch me.
Which then automatically dissipates the pressure.
Right.
So,
would you classify Reyes as a pressure fighter, though?
no, probably not. But I think that he will increase his volume to fight him, and also that. He's got a lot of good power, and that I think Jones will be wary of.
Unfortunately, Jones also has a great-ass chin.
Yeah, he
on
does.
top of everything else.
And it hasn't taken a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be really interesting. I think ultimately, like, of the new generation, at least this next generation, the immediate generation, I think Reyes is the best test, and Jones is actually getting him first, which I think for Jones is the best bet, because it gives Reyes less time to keep improving as a young awesome fighter.
Yep.
So I think he's doing a Mayweather a little bit, even though it's deserved. I'm not saying that in the sense of like Jones is like, I'm gonna fight Reyes before he's fully in his prime or anything. It kind of had to happen because light heavyweight's a little bit shallow, and Jones likes to fight often, which means he kills off contenders like a buzzsaw.
Yep.
But I think that this is his biggest challenge of the new guys. If we're counting Thiago Santos, that would be a really great rematch.
yes, especially all healed up, ready to go. That
And
would be
just to
insane.
see how that would happen. Jones is phenomenal in rematches, unfortunately.
Yeah.
DC, Gustafsson, the second round did not go as well as the
No,
first
they did
round
not.
went for them. So
Yeah.
I think this is his biggest test in the new generation. I think if he gets past Reyes, he will clear out another generation of light heavyweights. And then we'll have to see what the next step is. Like, if Reyes doesn't get it done, I don't think RAKIc's going to get it done. If Walker gets to a title shot, I don't think he's going to get it done.
Right. Or then
unless
even Oezdemir, right? Oezdemir's in the 3rd generation, I would argue, and I love Oezdemir.
Yeah.
Right? So
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So This is the chance, I think. It's either this or the Santos rematch. I don't see any other like upcoming people that I'm like, oh damn, Jon Jones, you better watch out.
Yeah.
But that being said, stay tuned, guys, because as we get closer, we'll do a lot more technical breakdowns on the specific Reyes-Jones matchup. We're both super excited about it, getting that stuff prepped in the background. So get ready, get set, and subscribe down below, because you need to do it. It's important.
Love you guys. Take care.
I don't know if I love you yet. I'm not there in our relationship.